Massive inside information now with India today about what happened in Bengaluru. The Bangalore police, according to our sources, suggested the weekend, Sunday specifically for the ceremony, because it will be not a working day. Traffic will not have to be blocked and they'll possibly get some time to plan security arrangements and to barricade it better. That's the big news coming in. According to our sources, Bengaluru cops appear to have informed the administration why not have this celebration not on a Wednesday, not on a weekday, a working day, but possibly on a Sunday or a Saturday or weekend. Police then told the government that 3rd June night and 4th, police officers have already worked till 4 a.m. Remember, there was crowd already right after the celebration. Bengaluru streets were packed. There were firecracker show happening. And that to come right the next morning with that kind of deployment, even the cops would be drained out. The government was adamant. Ceremony needs to be done the next day in 24 hours, even though police had suggested Sunday as the ceremony day. What happened? Why was there a rush? Why couldn't the ceremony be postponed a day or two at least? Was that not taken into consideration? Because remember, the excitement, of course, was top-notch. I want to immediately bring in Nagarjun Dwarkanath on the latest on that. Nagarjun, you've been saying that the government doesn't want to accept on record that there was possibly a disagreement with the cops. And I understand that. Government will be in a damage control mode. But tell me more about what the police possibly suggested, according to your sources, to the government.
Pooja, what we are picking up at this point of time right now is that the police sources, what we are suggesting is the police had told the government that we should have the ceremony on Sunday. One, there will be no traffic because people are not going to office and schools and colleges that day. And second, there will be more barricading time for us. We can have layers of security, people coming into the stadium, people coming into the Vidhan Sabha premises. So we'll have more security barricading. And number three, our police force have been working constantly on the June 3rd night when the finals happened. They have been working non-stop all night to control the crowd. And they went back home at 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. after dispersing the crowd. Again, asking them to come back at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock because people started coming by 11. So the police have to be there before the crowd. So the police personnel also will be tired and drained out is what the three defense put forward by the police department to the CM and the government. But however, the government was adamant saying that no, let's not do it on Sunday, but we have to do it on the June 4th. For their own reasons, and see what happened. The police were not in equal number because they didn't have much energy also. They were completely drained out. There was no proper barricading done. No security was put up properly.
What reasons, Nagarjun? What is your understanding? What do you believe, given your experience and covering the government of the state, that they had to do it in 24 hours? They couldn't wait at least 2 days.
This also has come from the team also, right? The management feels that many players would fly back to their home countries. They can't wait for extra 4 days being in India. Remember, because of Operation Sindhu, the matches got postponed to June 3rd. The players are already given up their national duties and was still playing here for RCB. Example, Phil Salt, the opening batsman, went back home and came back again. Josh Hazlewood went back to Australia, came back again. Having them another 4 days would be difficult. And hence the conversation between the team as well as the government was that let's do it right away tomorrow. Initially, the government was hesitant, is what I'm told, but they finally budged in and agreed that we will have it on June 4th itself. Even after the police saying that let's not have it on June 4th, we should do it on the Sunday. But the government only listened to the traffic police saying that let's not have a parade, open bus parade. We can just have them in Vidhan Sabha if you want. But at the end of the day, government is government. The police will have to agree with whatever the top bosses give instructions. But they have to also put it on record that we are not okay with this.
That's important. Nagarjun, what you've revealed is very important. Remember, the government is not saying this on record, but this is what our sources are telling us. You could see those few understaffed police personnel then forced to indulge in a lathi charge. How do you control that crowd, which is suffocating, which is stuck? Former DGP joining me right now, Vikram Singh on the phone line. Sir, you help me understand. There have been instances that have taken place in different states. But when we talk about this incident, do you think police, if had informed the administration, let's not have it so soon, we need to prepare better, there could be a massive crowd, should the government have adhered to it?
Absolutely. The police consider opinion and that was available. Was use the word loath. Then what would have been more appropriate, the more budget it was an unmitigated disaster, and they allowed a tragedy to have happened. They should have given due consideration to the recommendations made by the Bengaluru police, and they would have been in a better position to handle the crowds on Sunday, because it is a religion, not just a sport, and you could see the crowds. And I take you to the word, the tragic scenes of kids, young girls, men and women just dying of asphyxia, being just pushed to a barrier, and they're dying and suffocating right in front of our own eyes. It was a tragedy, it was totally avoidable. But political expediency got better of a considered opinion of the Bengaluru police, and this is where the problem arises. There, you see what is profitable.
How much of a blame, sir, do you think, or the responsibility also lies on the police force, or do you think this is where the government in its rush forgot and failed to take into consideration what the police said? Or do you think the senior officers should have also focused better on crowd control now that they had the direction that they have to go ahead with the event?
Very much. Police are accustomed to taking legislation.
Okay.
Political first case scenario, and was paid only to do what? Pay for foolproof arrangements.
Okay, I appreciate you joining us. He's the former Director General Police Uttar Pradesh, Vikram Singh. Remember, there has to be a coordination. There has to be a certain understanding, because this is a reminder again of rush for credit to show, to basically cash in on the kind of sentiment there was on the ground. Listen in now to when the Home Minister of the state was asked, considering he is in charge of the law and order, about whether the police gave a suggestion, gave a direction that this event will not be possible so soon. What did the Home Minister say?
Sir, the KSC had asked for permission earlier, but it was only granted last minute by the government, sir.
Okay, that's all. That's all.
Sir, in English, sir, Home Minister, sir. The KSC had asked for permission earlier, but it was only granted last minute by the government, sir.
Okay, that's all. That's all.
Sir, in English, sir, Home Minister, sir.
खुद डीसीएम डीके शिवकुमार ये कह रहे हैं कि चिन्नास्वामी स्टेडियम की कैपेसिटी मात्र 35,000 है और 3 लाख लोग वहां मौजूद थे। किस प्रकार से 3 लाख लोग मौजूद थे? अगर 35,000 ही कैपेसिटी है स्टेडियम की, तो आपकी विक्ट्री मार्च में 3 लाख लोगों को आपने अलाउ क्यों किया? अगर पुलिस ने परमिशन नहीं दिया, उसके बावजूद विक्ट्री मार्च किस प्रकार से हो सकता है? कौन जिम्मेदार है इस विक्ट्री मार्च के लिए? क्यों एक कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं हुआ पुलिस और इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइजर्स के बीच में? जो इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहा है और जो पुलिस की टीम है, मेडिकल इमरजेंसी की टीम है, इनके बीच में कोई कोऑर्डिनेशन नहीं है।
Your party also made a statement just now saying that BJP has information, police had denied the permission and told the government not to go ahead with it, but the government forced the police.
Yes, leader of the opposition made that statement. He said that as far as the information he has got, the police advised government against this particular celebration. In spite of that, in a hurry, with the intention of taking credit, government went ahead and organized this program.
Think of this for a moment. The decision to organize this, even the police sources are telling India Today, they suggested a weekend, a Sunday, they suggested some time, but for different reasons, possibly because the RCB players who are from different countries, different states, wanted to travel back to their home country or the state or otherwise, or because the government realized this is the moment that the sentiment is so high, there are celebrations everywhere, might as well go ahead with the event, and of course the cops had to follow. But if that warning had come in and it's been ignored, what does this really reflect? And remember, it's as much about Bengaluru and its accountability, but to all leadership, the system across the country. And it's important to understand what precisely happened. Now let me go across to someone who understands Bengaluru. Former Commissioner of Police in Bengaluru, Bhaskar Rao, is joining me as well. So thank you for joining us on the lunch break. You help me understand this. Do you believe that the police likely would have given this suggestion? Why that suggestion would have come to the government, and why was it ignored?
See, you must appreciate that police was up the entire night, starting at 11:45, when it started becoming clear that RCB is going to win the match. And the celebrations went on not only till late hours in the morning, but in some places extended up to 7:30, 8 o'clock. Now, the government suddenly takes a decision to give a public felicitation to the IPL players. Now, the government has not practiced, not played, not won. Why does it want to hijack this whole thing? And in such a short time, they ask the police department to organize themselves. The police have been up all night, and if you look at the crowd, you will see that the bandobast arrangements were woefully inadequate. We have got more than 1,000 stretchers, but see the way people were being tugged away.
Okay.
We should have used water bowsers instead of doing lathi charge, crowd cutters, and ambulances and medical aid. All these things go to manage such a large crowd. Despite the police department saying that it is premature to do it, the government bulldozed the police department's recommendation, and it is now done it. And they only wanted to say that the foreign players want to leave the country by the early morning flight today, so the function should have been held. Means we are not here to kowtow to somebody else, but to prepare ourselves to handle such a thing. And this is not a ordinary thing. And frenzy is something which is unmanageable. You can't do a lathi charge, you can't do a tear gas on them, you can't beat up these people because they're all innocent young people who have come out to celebrate something which the RCB could not do it in 18 years. So these things need time. Even during
what
elections
happens in a
also,
case like this, sir? If you can help me explain, because you know the city well. When you do you think that this was an unexpected crowd, or this should have been an expected crowd, that it was an estimate that the police force would have expected? And how is the deployment done? Because I saw some lathi charge. I saw police personnel rushing with the injured, possibly even dead bodies. And that's when you realize the senior officers were possibly not there. There were other deployments of the police personnel on the ground.
No, the whole thing was ill-conceived. Actually, no function is permitted in front of Vidhan Sabha and High Court. Who gave permission? Where is the permission to do this? And no preparation was also there for conducting this. And as you mentioned, lathi charge. Lathi charge actually is very crude way of dispersing people. We normally use bowsers to disperse peaceful crowds over there. So that was also not deployed. So police was absolutely unprepared, and it was an exhausted and a tired police force. And they were asked once again to come onto the streets. And there was no coordination between the government, which was organizing, then BCCI, then the stadium authorities, IPL. Everybody seems to be washing their hands out of the whole thing. And finally, now they will blame the police department. Now the infant terrible of the government, he is seen everywhere. He is seen kissing the cup in the airport, being among the
yes.
in the Vidhan Sabha, hijacking somebody else's victory and taking over it as a government victory. IPL matches have been won by Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, etc., etc. But nobody does it on this scale. They could have waited for 2 days and felicitated them, but they chose to ignore police department's advice. And look at the result. An entire team, 11 people have lost their lives over there.
A sad irony, sir, like you mentioned, yes. A team in itself in so many ways, and not just a number. These are family members, innocent people with dreams and future lives cut short. What is the lesson, according to you, as a former commissioner of police, that we need to take from here? Because you say if the police informed, as confirmed to our sources, to India Today from our sources, that government did not adhere to it. What lesson can we possibly take from this incident to not have a repeat of this?
The governments don't learn lessons. They know the outcomes very well. All they want is to pursue their agenda. They only wanted to hijack the victory and an RCB event to be made into some kind of a government-sponsored event. We only have to ensure that when such large-scale events take place, massive preparation should be there, and it should not be agreed upon to do it in a short period of time. At least 100 to 150 ambulances should have been kept in readiness over there. There are 1,000 stretchers already available. We have already bought and kept it. But why were they not utilized? And we need about 8 to 10 kilometers of ropes in different pieces. There is a rope party. Rope party was not deployed over there. And first of all, everybody's role clarity has to be there. Suddenly some gate is opened, and suddenly the chief minister makes a WhatsApp invitation to everybody, come and celebrate. All of you are welcome. I mean, this is not something a chief minister should be saying. So whoever is the organizer should be dealt with. Whoever has called for this function, they should be dealt with. And now they are having a magisterial inquiry by a junior officer like a rank of a district magistrate. Do you think district magistrate is going to summon the chief minister or deputy chief minister or the home minister? In fitness of things, it should have been done by a sitting high court judge who is much above all these people and far removed from the local administration. So they will just close this case as and exonerate people who are responsible for this and blame some lowly police officers and say that he should be suspended, etc., etc. Means it has been handled in the most criminal way. You can say this is criminal negligence and done in such great hurry. And they are bringing the governor also there. And then yesterday the chief minister holds a press meet and says, well, the death did not take place in front of the Vidhan Saudha, it took place near the stadium. Stadium is also inside Karnataka. It is not in Tamil Nadu or outside the country over there. Such irresponsible statement. The entire
and of course, because the police deployment, yes, wouldn't only be for the crowd control. The VVIP security takes a large chunk of that police deployment. Correct. I appreciate you joining us, Bhaskar Rao, former Commissioner of Police, Bengaluru, to put it in perspective. Shifting blame, questions are being asked, will accountability be held? But amid all of this, remember, we can continue to debate and discuss another stampede in the country. 11 people have lost their life. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.